everybody, it is Steve, your friendly neighborhood lawn gnome. Welcome back to another episode of Stats, Trends, and Picks over here on That's Comical. And if you're watching and it happens to be a Wednesday, happy new comic book day. Well, by the time that this video gets posted, I know that it will already be past the first Saturday of May 2025, so I just want to take this time to wish you all, fans, friends, colleagues, a very happy Free Comic Book Day 2025. If you're going to be partaking in the event, please remember that along with getting your free books to make a purchase and give your local comic book shop some business, they love you, they work for you, they want you to get the books that you want, so the only thing that you can do outside of just coming to the store and enjoying the festivities with fellow fans and colleagues and friends is to make sure that you give your store business, even if it's just $1. I'm telling you, I'm sure it's going to be more, but just being the good-natured person that you are, it's important to give your local comic book shop business because with all the news of what's recently been going on and all the doom and gloom about how the end of the comic book world is coming, I don't believe that. And the only way that I can show people that I don't believe that is by going to my store every week and picking up new books. And April was a really good month. It was a 5-week New Comic Book Day month, and when we take a look at the numbers, I'm not surprised with the outcome. DC, of course, is still doing its very best with its all-in initiative. Image is doing what it does, especially for me, it's the Energon and Ghost Machine universe. But the other conglomerate jumped, and now we're at 15 books for the month of April. And what can I say? There were so many great things that the other companies like Boom and Dynamite, etc., they're just giving me good stuff. And there's so many amazing things happening this summer. So I am saying to you all that I really do believe that all of the little companies are the ones that are going to surpass these 3 bigger companies, DC, Marvel, and Image. Could it happen? I don't know, but I personally think it is possible. And the winner, of course, was DC Comics, and when you take a look at the percentages, once again, over 37% of my purchasing went to DC in April. Over a quarter went to the other conglomerate, 28%, almost 29% went to Image Comics, and Marvel, they dropped tremendously, another 2 points. And that's just because of the fact that I've said it before, and I'm not going to say it here again. They've just got to give me something worth reading, that's all. And when we take a look at the chart, it's really starting to pick up. I mean, look at this. DC is definitely getting the memo. They're trying to get their fans the books that they want to read, and there's been some great stories out there in the All-In Initiative. But Marvel, they've got a lot of work to do, especially for me if they want to catch up. The one thing I don't understand is the fact that when I take a look at all the stats of the best-selling comic books of every month, Marvel is like killing it, and I'm trying to figure out what is it about these books that I'm not getting, because I don't like anything they're giving me, except for maybe a few miniseries and still 2 Ultimate books. So I don't know, am I losing my mind here? Tell me in the comments what's going on. So anyway, how did we fare in the month of April of 2025? Well, there was a lot of stuff that had to be rescheduled, and because of the fact that a lot of things got pushed back, and some of them are not even out yet, so a lot of my predictions were wrong because of that. Only one of my predictions for my top read of the week was correct, and we're going to start with that one. And it went to DC Comics' Absolute Superman number 6, which is the second to last piece of the first story arc, and I've got to say that when it comes to the Absolute Universe, I don't think I'm going to be one of those people that continues on after each of the first story arcs. This is the last of the first 3 Absolute titles that I'm still reading right now, and I do believe that after issue number 7, I'm going to drop it. I even took the opportunity, thanks to my brother-in-law, to read Absolute Batman number 7, and I'm kind of glad that I didn't purchase it, because I liked the story, but it just wasn't enough for me to read on. So I've already dumped Absolute Batman and Absolute Wonder Woman. Absolute Superman will probably follow them, and the same will happen with the second round, which is Flash, Green Lantern, and Martian Manhunter. Those will probably be gone at the end of their first arcs, but the goal for me here with the Absolute titles is see who these characters are, see what their worlds are all about, so when this big event comes, I'll be understanding and knowing who these characters are and what makes them different from the main DC universe. For the second week of April, I was anticipating giving it to Dynamite Comics and Giant-Sized Wacky Races. That title got pushed, but it did end up coming to my store on the last week of April, and no, it did not become one of my top picks this month. As a matter of fact, this was one of my worst reads of April of 2025. And why is that? Because outside of all the other Dynamite titles, whether it's Thundercats, Silverhawks, Powerpuff Girls, this one did not feel like Wacky Races. It just did not capture the nostalgia. And the way it was drawn and the way that it was told as far as the story, when you saw characters like Dastardly or Muttley, or when you saw the Army Surplus Special, it just didn't feel like Wacky Races, and these characters seemed so weird and out of place. So it was not a good read, and I'm very upset to say that most of the time. I really hate the fact that when I pick up something that I'm so excited about and it ends up being terrible, it pains me to talk negatively about it. But if you're out there and you read Giant-Sized Wacky Races, let me know if I was wrong, and let me know if you did enjoy it. However, for that week, which was the second week of April, I gave the top spot to Image Comics and my long-awaited return of Phantom Road, Jeff Lemire's really underappreciated and underrated story that he's currently writing over at Image Comics. I mean, everybody's talking about how he has this ongoing series over at Boom now, which is Minor Arcana, which I'm also reading and really enjoying, but a lot of people keep forgetting that this is an ongoing series at the moment as well. So, yeah, Phantom Road 11, it was great to get back to these characters. We now saw a little bit of a backstory, and I'm really curious where this story is going, especially seeing the past and the originations of this bizarre alternate dimension that Phantom Road is all about. For the third week of April of 2025, I was planning to give it to the very first installment of We Are Yesterday, which is the miniseries that intertwines Batman, Superman World's Finest, and Justice League Unlimited, both done by Mark Waid, and this was a very enjoyable book, even though I am anticipating after I finish this that I'm going to dump Batman, Superman World's Finest. Pains me to say that too. It was just missing that little something, or maybe it was just because of the fact that the book that came out that got its top spot that week was what it was, and that, of course, was the DC Comics Summer of Superman Special. Mark Waid, Dan Slott, Josh Williamson, and two great artworks by Jorge Jimenez and Tomu Mori. Wow, I did not anticipate this book to be as enjoyable as it was, especially because of the fact that I was anticipating, like everybody else, 3 separate stories by each of these writers, and it turns out that each of them wrote a part of the 3-part story that this book was all about, and it got me very excited for what's happening in Superman. I don't think I'm going to get all the titles, because it was past, present, and future, and the big news is that Action Comics is going to be going back into the world of Smallville with Superman as a teenager, so I don't think I'm going to get on board with that, but the Josh Williamson current Superman run, I am still very much invested in, and I really am so happy that this Summer of Superman special gave us Superman that we all know and love. So yes, Summer of Superman special, issue number 1 from DC Comics. Great, great book. For the 4th week of April 2025, I was anticipating giving it to a very anticipated book from Dynamite. Hopefully it won't be as bad as Wacky Races when it finally hits stores in about a week or two. And that, of course, is the Space Ghost Johnny Quest crossover Space Quest from Joe Casey. So I am really excited for this because Space Ghost and Johnny Quest over at Dynamite, great titles. And this is actually only going to be a 4-issue miniseries, so I'm kind of excited to see Joe Casey give me Johnny Quest one more time, because I did like the original series that came out last year. I'm still wondering if there will be a second arc to his book, because I thought it was really, really good, but I was hoping for this book to come out in April, and now I have to wait until May, and also finding out that it was only 4 issues. Kind of happy about the fact that it's not an ongoing series, because these days when it comes to ongoing series, I get a little bit nervous in regards to the money that I'm spending. So 4 issues, I'll take it. I'll see if it actually ends up being a good read when it comes out in May. But after that ramble, what was my pick for the 4th week in April? Well, it went to a book that I have spoken of and how much I enjoy it, but I still think it doesn't get enough praise, and it really should. You know how much I love to talk about the Ghost Machine universe and the Energon universe, but the Energon universe, I'm sorry guys, I seriously am sorry. This is a universe that I need to start talking about a lot more because more people need to read it. G.I. Joe, issue number 6 was my number 1 spot of that week, and it was the end of the first story arc of this incredible book from Image Comics, and Skybound, of course, this is Robert Kirkman's baby. Joshua Williamson is writing this book. G.I. Joe is turning out to probably be my favorite book in the Energon universe. Void Rivals is beautiful. Transformers by Daniel Warren Johnson, hands down, is one of the most action-packed, nostalgic-feeling comics that I'm reading right now. But G.I. Joe, I don't even remember the cartoon much. I remember the characters, but I really don't remember anything the most except for that theme song. And this book is the greatest roller coaster ride I've ever been on. That's what G.I. Joe is. And I love the fact, I want to take a page out of someone who I loyally follow, Wes over at Thinking Critical, as well as Drew over at Comics Elite. When you see an Energon Universe comic cover, this is not a bait and switch. You are going to be getting the exact bill of goods that you are expecting to get in these pages. And for G.I. Joe issue number 6, the final issue of the first story arc, you are anticipating a showdown between Duke and Cobra Commander. You better believe that that is what you're getting, and you are going to get one of the greatest fights that you will ever see in comics. It is fun, it is action-packed, it is witty, it is bloody, it's wonderful. And that is why I really need to push this specific book in the Energon universe a little bit more. I mean, look, the truth of the matter is, these are great books, but sometimes there are books that are just a little bit better, and I'm trying to be fair to everybody. But G.I. Joe number 6, wonderful, grade A comic book excitement, and I am so excited for the next story arc and issue number 7. And then for the final week of April 2025, I thought I was going to go over to IDW and the final installment of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, The Last Ronin 2 Re-Evolution. And this was not bad, but I was anticipating a much different ending. And I think it's simply because of the fact, and if you don't want to be spoiled, feel free to just turn off the video now, but they're not finished with the story. There is definitely going to be a 3rd volume somewhere down the line, so they decided to rather give you a cliffhanger with a little bit of mystery rather than a really nice ending, because I thought that the first installment of The Last Ronin, even though there was potential for a continuation, getting a really nice ending with a possibility of getting more, and we got more, but now this one seemed to be a little forced, but still, if Kevin Eastman and Tom Waltz are going to come back and do this 3rd installment, I will definitely be there for another 5-issue miniseries. And the winner for that week was, I don't even know why I didn't even pick it, because it's always one of the best reads of the month, and that, of course, is Image Comics, Feral issue number 12 from Tony Fleecs, Trish Foster, and Tone Rodriguez. This book is wonderful. We just had our discussion over on the channel. Me, Cammie, and April, we discussed the 2nd story arc of Feral, and seeing, based on the covers, where we're heading with this story, I'm still extremely excited, and this book is still extremely strong. So if you haven't started reading Feral, feel free to hunt some trades down. You really should check this book out because it really is wonderful. So that was what April 2025 gave me. What is May 2025 looking like? Well, it's going to be a busy month because I've got my daughter's birthday, Mother's Day, my wife's birthday. There's lots of stuff going on, lots to celebrate. But along with Free Comic Book Day, there's also some really great comics coming out this month. For the first week of May of 2025, this was supposed to come out in April, but now that it's coming out in May, I think I'm just a little bit more excited about it, and that's why My anticipated top pick is going to be from Dynamite Comics, Captain Planet #1 from David Pepose. I mean, he's been doing amazing things with Space Ghost. Just found out that there's going to be a brand new volume. His first volume of Space Ghost is concluding, and in July, they're going to start the second volume. The same staff is there. Don't know why they couldn't just continue the series, but I am anticipating to see more great things from David Pepose. He's writing one of the only Marvel titles I like in Cable, Love, and Chrome. He's going to be writing Speed Racer. So, Captain Planet, I am anticipating very, very, very good things. Lots of fun. For the second week of May 2025, I am going to be going over to Dark Horse Comics with a very anticipated Millarworld title. And that, of course, is the return of a very big fan favorite of the Millarworld, and that is Huck, Big Bad World. He's even gotten Raphael Albuquerque back to do the artwork on this book. So the fact that we're getting the original team back together for another volume of Huck, it's a long time coming, and I'm really hoping that it's going to be well worth it. For the third week of May 2025, I am actually thinking that this has never been a possible prediction for a top pick of the week. And that, of course, is back to Dynamite Comics and Declan Shalvey's Thundercats, issue number 16. This has been one of my favorite reads ever since I started reading this book. And it's not really talked about much, and even some people have found that it's really not for them. But I really love the direction that Declan Shalvey has taken with the Thundercats, and considering that this was only supposed to be a maxi series, seeing that we've already gotten past 12 issues makes me very happy. So right now, with every read of Thundercats, I really enjoy it, and even the sister series, Thundercats Lost, it's only one issue, but I really liked it, so I'm really excited for more of this world. And for the final week of May 2025. Now, there are a lot of directions that I could have gone in because there were so many great books coming out that week, but I thought of what's going on right now in the world of That's Comical, and knowing that Andy and I are doing our Ultimate Journey, Road to Blackest Night, and we've covered so much already. When I found out that this was happening in Jeremy Adams' Green Lantern run, and in the new issue, number 23, finding out that the Spectre was going to be making an appearance for a very specific reason, I was like, wow, we're going all the way back to some classic Green Lantern stories, believe it or not, from Jeff Johns. So yeah, I just said to myself, even though there's so many other great titles, I really have a good feeling about this Green Lantern issue. I've been loving Jeremy Adams' run on this and Green Lantern Corps, so the fact that there's a very specific thing that's happening that involves Hal Jordan and the Spectre, I think this may be my top read of the last week of May 2025. And that's going to wrap up another episode of Stats, Trends, and Picks, everybody. Thank you very much for watching. Please leave your comments in the box below. Let me know what some of your picks were in April of 2025. Let me know if I missed anything. Do you agree with my thoughts? Do you disagree? Let's have a conversation. And I'm hoping, once again, that you all enjoyed Free Comic Book Day 2025. But in the meantime, everyone, I will see you in the next one.